Unfortunately for Brad, a series of self-inflicted controversies have really made his channel performance suffer, making it very clear that from the start, Brad was never really equipped to handle the small amount of internet fame that he got in the first place.
Yeah, and at the same time, some of the people that he got in his audience are kind of pathetic because really, when it comes to like good criticism that I gave towards Brad, they really just don't like it. This is a good video I was trying to make us react to, why Brad Taste deserves his downfall.
But
yeah, this is like a video I really wanted to watch, Shaq, because Brad Taste, especially his fans, I have nothing good. Like, there's nothing good between us, or at least mostly his fans, because, you know, I made a video about Brad Taste, and I got a lot of dislikes because people were saying that I was being too harsh on Brad Taste, or I was like agreeing with him too much. But like, bro, I don't really like this guy. Like, why the fuck are you guys hating on me? Like, I'm pretty much on your guys' side in a lot of ways, because I think this guy's pathetic. Like, he keeps flip-flopping, like he's pretty much running around in circles, like he has no clue what he's doing, like he's like a headless chicken. But anyways, enough talking, let's actually get into the video. You know, from Tom Dark. Good guy, by the way.
There are a lot of music reviewers on YouTube, but not a lot of successful ones. It's really hard to stand out in any genre in a sea of other creators who are trying to climb their way to the top. But one man would stand out, Bradley Lehman, or Brad Taste. During the last half-decade, he's managed to accumulate 400,000 subscribers, making content creation his full-time career along the way. Unfortunately for Brad, a series of self-inflicted controversies have really made his channel performance suffer, making it very clear that from the start, Brad was never really equipped to handle the small amount of internet fame that he got in the first place.
Yeah, and at the same time, some of the people that he got in his audience are kind of pathetic because really, when it comes to like good criticism that I gave towards Brad, they really just don't like it. Like, what the hell, man? Like, I'm not really. Here's the thing, I really want Brad to like be good in the end, but like this dude like needs to like make himself good, but he's not really doing that. And people apparently, like his fans, are just saying, "Oh, why the hell are you attacking Brad? He's not doing anything wrong." Like, what the fuck? Like, this dude's obviously doing something wrong, and I want him to like fix his problems, but he's not doing that. So, I don't know. Just this whole thing is pathetic. I mean, I'm just probably like mad that I got a lot of dislikes on my Brad Taste video. It could be that, or I'm just, like I said, like maybe his fans are just being pathetic.
I under no circumstance can listen to this album right now because I am not safe in my own home, and I really can't describe much else.
This is the story of the rise and fall of Brad Taste.
Non-stop edging. Oh, Jesus Christ, Tom.
It seems like Brad originally began his channel, as many YouTubers do, as a joke.
Hi, my name is Eminem. Your girl wanted Eminem, so I gave her an Eminem.
Ow, what the Jesus Christ. Ah, I mean, I miss these types of videos, but like, fucking hell, at least like have like a bit of like a headphone warning, or maybe I should have done that myself. God, that actually hurt. Oh my fucking God, hold on, I need to take off my headphones. Oh God.
But it wouldn't be long before he started taking his channel a little more seriously to try to turn it into a real business, a real content creation venture. He was clearly inspired by music reviewers like Anthony Fantano at the time, so he started uploading simple reviews of albums to YouTube.
Kind of ironic because, well, Anthony Fantano's also not that great.
Hey viewers, Bradley here with a review for Forced Witness by Alex Cameron.
These videos had noticeably low production quality with no real video editing apart from jump cuts, but by taking inspiration from general meme culture from the time and commentary channels, he began implementing more comedic
Wait, what the hell? He actually had like some elements of a commentary channel? I didn't know that. Because obviously after I made my video, I watched a bit of his content and I didn't really see any of that. Probably because I'm more used to like the whole Leafy clone or whatever Tom Dark's doing. Could be that. I don't know.
to make his stuff, well, funny. Viewers quickly noticed the improvements in production quality, and they really praised him for it down in the comment section, but he wouldn't truly be put on the map, so to speak, until he started reacting to albums. The typical format for a music review or a movie review is to listen to the content or watch the content in full, and then turn on your camera and give your thoughts on it. But
well, how the hell is he... Because this is the thing I'm kind of confused about, especially when it comes to like live streaming, like reviewing music. Like, how are you supposed to do that without getting in trouble in copyright? Because I try listening to music on stream and I always get like a copyright claim or pretty close to getting like a copyright strike. Like, how is that even possible to get away with? Because I've seen a lot of big streamers, reviewing music or just playing music in the background that's definitely copyrighted, and yet they somehow get away with it. Like, is this something that they work behind the scenes? Like, they just work with like the record label, with like their agency or talent, whatever it is, and they just make sure that they don't get like a copyright claim or a copyright strike. I don't know. Like, how does this even possible? Like, how does Brad Taste, get away with all this copyright? I'm not saying like he should get like, any copyright strike or claim, but like, how does he do it? Like, how does he make sure that he doesn't get any of that stuff and yet still make good videos on, reviewing music, or at least, good streams?
Brad had something else in mind. He decided to start filming himself listening to the album in full and giving his thoughts and commentary along the way as he would pause through the songs. By implementing his improvements in production quality with this new format, he was really able to make a much better product where viewers could essentially watch his video, kind of listen to parts of the album along the way, and he could crack jokes about it. He could give his immediate thoughts on songs as he listened to them and specifically reference the parts he was talking about. Although keep in mind the songs were heavily cut up to avoid being copyright claimed on YouTube. And all these
I guess he does like a reaction on his streams, and then he like either unlists the streams or he deletes them. But before he does that, he downloads the VOD and then he edits the part where he's reviewing the album, and then he obviously cuts it to where it's not like, to the point where he can get copyright claimed or striked. So I guess that's how it works. But I don't know, I just don't like the idea of just deleting streams. Maybe if it's stupid and it's actually like one of the worst streams I've ever done, but just deleting a stream, that's good. But you had to delete it because there's copyright music. That's kind of annoying. But if that's the best way to get away with copyright strikes, then I guess you gotta do what you gotta do.
These skills coming together would finally culminate in one series of videos. His reaction to the most classic emo album of all time, The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance.
That's so cool.
And people loved this video, including me. This is how I originally found out about Brad's content, and I was like, hey, that's a good video. I like it. Subscribe! And keep in mind, this video actually blew up before the whole emo revival happened around 2020, where everyone was rediscovering these bands and younger people were getting into early 2000s rock for the first time. This is way before that, and despite that, the video blew up at a time.
Ironic in 2020 because you know what happened. I mean, I kind of miss, I don't miss like the pandemic, fuck that shit, but somewhat the culture, I guess you can say, somewhat. Not, I mean, there were some shitty things that happened, but like, I don't know, just not really trying to, because when that whole thing was going on, I just didn't give a shit about what was going on in the outside world. I was just going through social media and just enjoying some of the culture there, no politics, just, pop culture stuff, I guess you can say. And it was pretty good, and now everything's all gone down to shit, so yeah, it's kind of disappointing.
When My Chemical Romance was arguably at their least relevant point in recent
Ronnie, sounds familiar, right, chat? The whole Anthony Fantano situation that's going on right now.
memory. And his first part of that series is...
Oh yeah, because I forgot. Hopefully Turkey Tom or Tom Dark talks about what happens, because I don't know, just watching, I don't know, that current situation has a bit of a reminder for Brad Taste, and I hope that I mean it is important, so I bet Tom's going to obviously include it, but let's just hope he actually does, because it's going to be important, especially for what's going on now.
Still one of the most popular videos on his channel. So he really started growing, he was experimenting with new formats, and by 2019 he had 40,000 subscribers. By 2021, just 2 years later, he had 100,000. He also expanded his previous formats from just reviewing albums to making more generalized videos about music that were a lot more clickable. If you don't care about the new Tarda Jerker album, you're probably not going to click on Brad's review or think about it twice when it comes across your recommended. But when he posts a video titled Great Songs on Bad Albums, that's something that any music fan can relate to, and it made his videos a lot more clickable for new viewers. By this point, Brad was able to turn his hobby into a full-time job. He was definitely taking it a lot more seriously, and he even dropped out of college because he was making more than enough money to support himself and live comfortably. He didn't have to go the normie, wagey lifestyle, okay? He didn't need that. And as any good businessman will tell you, you gotta always be looking for ways to further monetize your endeavors.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
So,
I mean, that's everyone, so it makes sense. Because, hey, like, obviously as soon as you start receiving the cash and you start seeing all the profitability that you can just get, of course you're gonna get as much as you can before it starts crashing down. And obviously that's what Brad was doing until, well, what's going to happen later.
he started live streaming. People who start off streaming with no prior audience are usually going to have a really bad time and probably give up pretty quick because they get stuck in this hell of like 1 or 2 people maybe watching their shit, if even that. Streaming for days, months, years, sitting in your bedroom alone, shouting into the void and hoping that someone will stumble onto your shit and like it enough to stick around. But streaming when you already do have a following from videos you've made, in theory, should be a lot easier. But a lot of people don't make this transition well because if your viewers didn't subscribe for streams, then it's going to be really difficult to convert your regular subscribers into people who actually want to see you live stream, especially if you're not good at it. But Brad, thankfully, was actually pretty good. He gave interesting commentary on the music he listened to, he cracked jokes, he constantly interacted with chat, which is great to make the viewers feel involved in the content that they're watching. I mean, that's like the main appeal of live streaming, right? You get to interact with the actual creator and type to them and see them read your and be like, oh, I think this about that.
Because it's kind of funny when sometimes when streamers just ignore the chat, like especially when the chat's like so fast you can't even read it. Oh man, it's kind of funny. It's like, oh man, as a, what if like I wonder what the chat thinks. Like, oh man, this guy doesn't care about me. Anyways, move on. That's pretty much like losing out on a fan or so. If they're, they're bots, of course. If they're bots, then who gives a fuck.
Not only that, he was able to seamlessly transition his prior format of listening to an album in full and reacting to it on his stream. Only this time, he could collect donations. And after noticing a lot of people in the super chats were paying him to be like, hey, can you review this thing that I like? Can you review this album I don't like? Can you look at this thing? He decided to make a threshold where you have to pay a certain amount of money, which at one point I believe was $400, in order for him to justify reviewing the thing you want him to review. And
God damn! And people actually donated $400 just for him to review music or albums? That's pretty neat. Man, I'm actually impressed by that. Like, man, $400. I thought he was gonna make maybe like 5, 10, but no, 400. Like, was he getting so much money he decided to up it, like make it to where you have to pay like 400 just to review music? Man, that dude was making bank. Okay, like this dude was making just dough. Whew.
people shelled the fuck out for this. They paid him so much money. He could then take that live stream and cut it down a bit into a simpler, easy to watch YouTube video. He could post that, and then he can collect ad revenue off of it after the fact. In theory and in practice, this was a great way to monetize his format and really just rake in even more dough. And this time it was for doing less work. He didn't have to do a ton of editing on the new YouTube uploads. It was like simple cuts here and there, and that was it. So things worked out. Brad grew his channel to a level he had never seen before. He had over 300,000 subscribers. Things were going really well. Unfortunately, just as Brad was hitting his greatest stride and really making it on YouTube and making a ton of money, there was also something else bubbling under the surface that began to come up. It became really clear during some of these streams that Brad was not doing well mentally. Mental health.
Oh yes, mental health. The biggest problem when it comes to streaming, like basically one of the biggest negatives. Because man, XQC, Hasan, Asmongold, like all those big streamers, like mental health, like man, their mental health's like gone down the shit. I mean, XQC, like he's mostly streaming at midnight. Like, dude has insomnia. I mean, it's just sad. God, that's like one of the biggest negatives for streaming. No wonder why people don't really want to do it, because you have to like constantly like 24/7 just start streaming and looking at chat, reading it, engage with them. It's kind of exhausting. Like, you can't really take breaks either. I mean, maybe you could, but like these streamers are worried that people are just gonna click away from them if they start taking more breaks. But yeah, I wonder how Brad handled this.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I am not safe in my own home.
at one point he recounted a particular bad trip he had while under the influence, which the mere mention of made him break down into tears over on live stream.
Yo, Allie, 4 minutes ago says, "Hey Brad, I heard you mentioning struggle with disassociation. I've been having the same experience for years after a bad trip."
Oh damn.
Thank you, Allie. No, I appreciate that. It's not that I'm happy that you're going through it. It's just nice to know that someone else, like, I'm just not alone in this shit.
This is your brain. This is drugs.
Now, for his entire career, Brad had been uploading a lot of videos talking about his mental health, his various addictions. This was like a consistent thing for him, but most of those videos have since been removed.
I wonder why, because, well, I mean, it's kind of gets good to like raise awareness, but like people could obviously like use that against you, like, in case like, you fuck up and next people are going to start, targeting your mental health and how, all this stuff that he's been doing to like maybe like prevent it or just cope with it. like that's just, I don't know. It's not really. I mean, it's kind of debatable how people should like handle their mental health, especially publicly. I don't know, maybe like talk about it a bit, but like not really like be too specific because people would weaponize that against you once you start fucking up.
But in an upload from January of 2022, he describes how powerful marijuana was for him in particular.
Get smoked like that blood.
God
He
damn.
claimed that it took control over his life for some time to the point that he felt isolated from everyone else, he pushed them all away, and he didn't really care about anything or anyone. Even after 5 months of being clean, as of him posting this video, he still thought about it every single day. But this was not the only addiction that had a serious grip on his life.
My real drug of choice was video games. Ever since I discovered them, it felt like the real world didn't actually matter. It felt like living didn't actually matter. Because this thing existed that I could do for an infinite amount of time, never get tired of it, always feel stimulated, and it's a safe place that I could always go to.
Before, when he was in high school or college, he had set in stone responsibilities to adhere to. He wasn't able to just succumb to these addictions, right? He could suppress them because he had his teacher being like, you need to do this assignment. And he had his parents breathing down his neck being like, Brad, get off the silly Fortnite. It's time to do your math homework. But now that he was a YouTuber, he had no official boss to report to. He didn't have a time he needed to wake up or a time he needed to go to bed. As long as he was making enough content to make ends meet, theoretically, he could do whatever he wanted. So he started wasting more and more of his time on video games and drugs as escapism. Now, I know
Oof. I mean, well, obviously, don't play too many video games to the point where reality doesn't exist. But like, if you can like somehow be successful as like a video game streamer as well, not just like you're reviewing music and all that stuff and be funny, then I guess that's a bit of a positive. But like the drugs, God, because you have mental health and drugs, and since he's a streamer full time, he it basically consumed him, like the drugs and all the problems mentally that he has. Because, well, no one's really, like, checking up on him because he sadly pushed him away because, well, he doesn't really have, like, a boss. Like, since, well, he's doing all the stuff himself, he doesn't really have anyone to check up on him, which is kind of depressing, I guess. I don't know, I guess finding out more about Brad, I'm starting to, like, feel bad about him in some ways. But, like I said, like, the whole situation that's going on with him right now, obviously he kind of deserved it because that's really his actions, and I wished he reversed it, but he still hasn't, as far as I know. But, like, knowing about all of this, I'm feeling a bit bad about him. Obviously, it doesn't, like I said, like it doesn't, like, excuse his actions with what's going to happen later on in this video. But, man, that just sucks, man. I have no words. I mean, I'm actually out of words. I have no clue how to describe it. All I just say is that it sucks for what's going on with him, in this point, unless he gets better, like, later on. But, anyways, let's just watch the video. No, just continue.
I know that the stinky green herb, okay, is very socially acceptable. Every time I've made comments about the negative effects weed can have on someone, I have a lot of people like, it's not addictive, man. Shut up. It's just not, man. I'm great. I get stoned all day, and my life is awesome, dude. Joe Rogan likes it.
Imagine if you...
Yo, thanks for the follow. The guy on Kick. I can't say your name, sadly, but thanks for the follow.
Gave a white supremacist 5-MeO DMT.
And then you're also going to have people in the comments thinking, Brad, video game addiction? What a joke. But I would argue that anything can be addictive, and there are probably a lot of people out there who are addicted to both of these things and are completely unaware of it because it's so societally acceptable to spend all day playing video games and smoking weed. In my opinion, anything that you sink time, energy, and money into consistently, despite its clear detriment to your well-being and your success, is an addiction. In small doses, anything can be fine, of course, but for Brad, it wasn't just a small dose.
Spending 4 or 5 hours in front of a screen watching gaming content, playing games was normal, and I didn't see anything wrong with it. In fact, it was so normal that when I was trying to figure out my life, I just was like, I need this. This keeps me sane. I can't get rid of this. I can't change this. This can't actually be the problem.
These addictions were so bad that Brad had stopped caring about the passion that made him a self-employed creator in the first place, music. But Brad was determined to improve his life, to work on these addictions, and to put an end to it, so he stopped smoking. He also set a big limit on himself for the time per day he could spend playing games, which is also something that he would only allow himself to do after all of his work for the day was already done.
Okay, that's good. Hell yeah. Make sure you put some limits, okay? Some safeguards. Good change. Finally sobering up.
Sorry, I had to stop recording because I had like a Brad Taste schizo moment. I heard the door creak and I thought there was someone in my house. I was about to go kill them.
I am not sick.
That was me like yesterday when I had like that, reaction when I was watching the debate. Like some guy just the door opened, but it was just my dad. God. At least I'm not Brad Taste though. At least it was actually real.
Safe in my own home.
People in the comment section of this video were really supportive of him. People who could relate to the struggles he was going through and their various addictions, whatever it may have been. They really liked that he was improving his life and setting a good example for his audience by doing so. And they also respected the fact that he was, unlike a lot of other content creators, willing to talk openly about his mental health struggles and addiction struggles. Now, Brad would also make a big point on his channel to talk about sensitive social issues, taking a firm stance against any casual racism or racist jokes being made in his chat.
Now, I take blame for this. I've made content that's very much encouraged people to say some stupid shit like, Japanese music showing up as anime music, or reggaeton is all copy and paste garbage. Another one being there's a lot of Asian hate casually just thrown in the mix as well.
I sort of just threw this comment in because I completely forgot what I was trying to say, but this is referring, I guess, to Korean hate, K-pop.
I could have definitely done a better job at denouncing this, but admittingly I didn't really see a big problem with it until recently. A big reason is I've just educated myself on a lot of different cultures.
In Brad's view, people were writing off music and art based simply on the country or ethnic origin of where it came from. And in his opinion, even casual jokes at the expense of these cultures were fueling widespread racist sentiment towards them. He claimed that he had educated himself on these cultures, and he also aimed to educate his audience about what he had learned. While his intentions were definitely good, and I think that, if that's what you want to do with your audience, you want to push for social change, I think that can be a good thing.
I mean, it may alienate some people, but if you want to do it, go right ahead. But if some people disagree, then they're going to disagree. You can't really change their minds.
Ultimately, this would lead to some very negative consequences for his audience.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of people would be very invested in his social and political views, even more so than his opinions on music. And these two ideas would begin to really clash. In June of 2024, Brad...
Oh, here comes the situation. Here it is. This is where basically the shit show begins.
A picture of himself with Ethan and Hila Klein of the H3 podcast. And if you don't know about the Brad Taste drama, you're probably mentioning, why am I even talking about this, right? Well, this kind of thing, taking a picture with a podcaster, which would be, a relatively innocuous post to any other kind of audience, was something that many of Brad's followers took a big issue with. Many of them replied to him on Twitter, asserting that Ethan and Hila Klein were genocidal Zionists.
Oh, yeah, this is what, basically, I guess you can summarize the whole thing. Brad just took a picture of, Ethan and Hila, and some people just didn't like them because they're Jewish and they're Zionists and all that stuff, supposedly, even though Ethan has said that he's actually pro-Palestine. And they're also saying that because Hila is actually from Israel, and she was part of the IDF because that's like mandatory. But like, what the fuck? How are they like genocidal? Like, they're here in America, they're doing podcasting, and hell, they're even pro-Palestine themselves. But apparently, since Brad took a picture with those two, it's pretty much that's not a good look. So Brad had to like apologize and pretty much say that, hey, those two are genocidal. And then Ethan pretty much responded by saying, how the hell am I genocidal? Like, I'm actually doing good. And he also denounced Brad. Yeah, it was a complete shit show, and it was a mess, seriously. And I'm so pissed off that I got so many dislikes on my video. I know I'm still holding a grudge on those people. Fuck them.
And this is due to Hila's former membership in the Israeli Defense Force and what they saw as Ethan's failure to condemn Israel during...
Oh, yeah. Also because, Hassan and Ethan pretty much broke up the Leftovers podcast or show, whatever it was, because, Hassan was, let's just say the latest, pro-Hamas, mostly, instead of pro-Palestine.
This coverage of the Israel-Palestine conflict on the Leftovers podcast. And this is a conflict that ultimately resulted in Hassan Piker being removed from the H3 podcast brand. Comment after comment rolled in criticizing him for even taking a picture with them, which caused him to really start to feel the heat. I'm aware that being around Ethan and Hila at the moment is very questionable. I wanted to meet them despite people's valid criticisms of them. I'm aware that this is a bad look, and posting a photo with them may upset many people. Not the best decision on my part. This tweet was definitely made to suppress the backlash and give his perspective on why he took a picture with...
Yeah, that's like one of the main things why I don't like Brad, because, bro, you do realize that trying to like quote something like that by denouncing I mean, I get it, because the dude's like big and all that stuff, and he has like mental health problems, but like, that's not really how you're gonna do it. If people are gonna hate you, just ignore him. Like, don't... I mean, maybe if most people, like a lot of people, even in your audience, hate you, then I guess you can try your best to like address it, but like, those people, highly doubt they're even his fans. So it's like, why even like try to apologize and bend the knee to them? Just ignore it at that point. I mean, if you like Ethan and Gila Klein, then well, just be, just say that, like, just say, hey, yeah, there's some bad things, but it's whatever. I still like him. So I don't know. I already said, like, he's pathetic in that situation. That's one of the big things that people hated him. So do I, because I don't know. That's why I hate him so much. He bends the knee so many times. Like, instead of actually, like, give his own stance on everything, like, he just decides to bow down whenever people criticize him for, like, the slightest thing. Like, it's like so little. It's like a little tiny needle, I guess you can say. And for some reason, it's pretty much like a waking giant. Like, you know what I'm saying, champ? It's like pretty much a giant that's could I don't know, end his career, which it wouldn't. It's like a nothing burger, I guess you can say.
Ethan and Hila, but instead it only threw more fuel on the fire and sent those who were upset further into their rage about it. Wait, you know they were problematic, and why? Then why would you ever want to meet them? If you knew Ethan and Hila were Zionists, why even risk your reputation for that meeting? Brad then responds saying, I wanted to meet them because they were famous, and I had the opportunity to meet a creator who is a pivotal part of my childhood. I had no care for the moral implications at the time. This portion of his audience became more and more livid at him with each post he made because he took a picture with these people, and they didn't really care about his reasoning. It wasn't good enough for them. In their eyes, Ethan and Hila supported genocide and are akin to like Hitler apologists or sympathizers or supporters. And even taking a picture with them in their mind legitimizes and promotes them and their ideology. But not everyone came to the same conclusion. You did have people saying things like, you're being too harsh on yourself. You met some famous people and took a picture. Not everything has to be tied back to something controversial, and the people giving you shit over that aspect of it are spewing nonsense.
Yeah, I agree with Jacob right here. Like, obviously, hey, like, even though Ethan and Hila have some, things that they disagree with that a lot of people are mad about, but it's like, whatever, like, just take a picture, like, have a good time with them. Like, hey, like, especially since Brad actually looked up to them and actually watched them as a kid, yeah, like, go right ahead, take a picture. We don't mind. I mean, yeah, some people can be mad, but it's like, forget about them. I don't know, it would have been so easy for Brad to end this whole thing and just, move on with his life, but he I don't know, just the hate just got into him. Like, it just ruined him. Like, it's just so little. It's like a little hate mob. Like, it's just, like I said, it's little. Like, how could they even affect him? Like, he's bigger than them, and the people around him are bigger than that group as well. Like, oh man, it's just so annoying.
Nonsense. But Brad seemingly did not agree with this defense of him, saying the famous people in question are hated by a lot of people for really strong and dangerous opinions, and I plastered my smiling face next to them and posted it online. Now, without getting too deep into the weeds here, as someone who doesn't really give a shit about this conflict at all, I would argue that from all of the coverage I've seen of this conflict from Ethan and Hila, they clearly don't support the deaths of innocent Palestinians. They just also don't support the deaths of innocent Israelis, which makes sense because Ethan's Jewish and met Hila in Israel, and Hila is Israeli, so obviously they're not gonna like that. They have
yeah, because no one likes war, so of course Ethan and Hila are going to say, hey, make sure that there's obviously peace, no deaths on civilians, either Palestinian or Israeli. Like, that's it. Like, make sure that, hey, like, this whole conflict comes to the end and all the civilians are safe. But apparently a lot of people just don't like that for some reason, especially Hassan.
A much more nuanced view in this topic than a lot of the people in Brad's audience are presenting. But instead of defending himself against the criticism, and instead of defending Ethan and Hila or just shutting up about it, Brad basically accepted what his audience had to say, unquestionably, and just didn't give any real pushback, even agreeing with them. Naturally, Ethan eventually saw this and he decided to chime in on Instagram, saying, this is Brad. Someone on the crew was kind enough to get him VIP tickets so he was able to come backstage and hang out with us. I had the chance to speak to him for a little bit and thought he was a nice guy. Here he is apologizing for taking a picture with me because I'm a Zionist. What does this even mean? To those that use that word as an insult, it simply means anyone that believes Israel has a right to continue to exist. I'm not upset at Brad, but when your ideology concludes that 90% of an ethnic group are monsters, I think you probably just don't like that ethnic group. My heart goes out to the suffering in Gaza. I pray every day for a ceasefire. I will continue to support Palestine. So now Ethan is coming down on him and Brad starts to really feel the pressure, right? Especially because Brad had previously denounced them. And from this point—
well, yeah, Brad, holy shit. Like, this could have been so easy. Like, just say, like, I don't give a shit. Ethan, Hila, I used to watch them as a kid, okay? If you don't like me, then obviously you're not my fans. Like, it's so easy. Like, just, Brad should have just stand his ground. But nope, he had to bend the knee. And even Ethan realized, like, what the fuck is this shit? And so obviously Ethan started talking shit about Brad because, well, Brad was doing something dumb. Man. You see what I'm saying, Chad? Like, this is just so mind-boggling. I mean, if I was in Brad's case, like I said, I would have been, well, not bend the knee, but I would stand my ground. Like, what? Who gives a shit? It's just people who are, and like I said, like there's more people that supported him than the people that are trying to go after him in that situation, as far as I know. Like, at least he has 400K subscribers. Like, a lot of those people probably like him and don't really care about what's going on in like Palestine or Israel.
Point on, Brad was already in pretty deep, but I think the kind of thing you would expect given his previous public statements would be that he'd either 1, ignore them, or 2, criticize Ethan and Hila for their positions and like call them out and really go in on them. Instead, Brad expressed his very frustrated mental state of being unable to end the controversy and make everyone happy. I genuinely don't understand how anyone is supposed to handle the amount of noise that comes from having an opinion. I think I've seen every single side of this situation be mad at me for a different reason. I'm either doing too much or not enough, and trying to make everyone happy is killing me. Now, I can understand Brad's frustration here to an extent, but I think what he fails to understand is that these people in his audience don't just think that Ethan and Hila are like silly people or like kind of controversial, you shouldn't be around them. They actually believe that Ethan and Hila are genocidal. They believe they support an ethnic cleansing.
What the fuck? Jeez. And those are the same people that Brad decided to bend the knee to. Ugh, man. That's just... I have no words, seriously. I'm already out. Like, I pretty much said everything I had to say. Like, this guy is just... disappointed.
And if you were under the belief that someone was perpetuating a genocide, you probably would be unwilling to accept anything less than a public disavowal of that person. On the other hand, Ethan feels like the audience is misrepresenting him, and obviously he has no respect for these people who are, you know, in his view, slandering him and claiming that he's a monster. This is an issue that you really can't play both sides on if you're in Brad's position. You either have to ignore the audience entirely and just keep pushing, or you have to publicly, firmly take a stance on what side you believe in and shit on people who don't. Unfortunately, he seemed incapable of doing both. And as a result, no one was really satisfied with his responses. Even though he wanted the controversy to end, he would go on to further fan the flames by even shitting on those who were just telling him he didn't need to take it that seriously and like telling him he should chill out. You're superficial and not threatening to my career, so yeah, you aren't worth anything to me. Now,
that's gonna completely backfire. Man. Talking about, you know, fuck, what was the word I was talking about? I guess, shit. Chat, can you help me out here? What was I gonna say? Because this is like a good case of foreshadowing, foreshadowing. Jesus Christ, I'm like talking so fast because there's like so much going on in my mind right now because of this video. Like the cogwheels in my brain, they're going overdrive on this. Like, there's so much I have to say on this because I made a video, like I said earlier, like I made a video about that whole situation when it was going out. Well, it was going down. See, like I told you, my brain it's going overdrive. I swear to God.
after all of this had happened on Twitter, Brad would post one final long tweet about his thoughts on the issue, saying, "Members of my family have died at the hands of Hamas, and it has honestly made this one of the hardest situations I've ever been presented with. I understand why people are upset, and I want to make it very clear that I stand with the people of Palestine." While this did temporarily placate the audience of people who were mad at him because they like to see, you know, he has the same opinion as me, paste, it also led to a lot of mockery from other people on.
Uh-oh. My grandma got killed recently. I was pretty bummed out about it. But I think Hamas was probably more happy she's dead than I am sad to lose her. The total happiness in the world increased. So whatever. Oof. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much a nothing burger. Brad can, like, easily just ignore that, right? Right?
On Twitter.
They're trying to provoke Brad into being a lol cow for them. Like, they are.
Yep.
Like, they're trying to piss, like, all of these lazy-ass commentary YouTubers.
Hey, you, man!
Brad and his fiance, at least at the time, seemed unwilling to accept that this entire...
I'm sorry, chat, but, like, of course you have to target the commentary community when they were just giving Brad valid criticism. I mean, that's not really surprising, because whatever another commentary community goes after someone, of course the person that they're being targeted by the commentary community, of course they're going to deflect and say that they're being wrongfully attacked, even though we're trying to give people valid criticism and make sure they're in the right direction, and, you know, take out those that are obviously going way too far. I just hate it when people say, "Oh, the commentary community is so toxic," yada yada yada. But what are we doing that's considered toxic? We have common sense, unlike you people.
drama was really self-inflicted by Brad, and he did it to himself. Now, at the time, I had personally criticized the way Brad handled this, and while initially he did fire back at me with a little bit of a pot shot, once I posted a video about the situation, he seemingly understood my criticisms. Unfortunately for him, this would not be the end of the saga, because Brad had now entered a period of unending controversy where every single week there would be a new issue that people were in my live stream chat telling me to react to, and I was just like, what are you doing? Take the Rose Malay controversy, for example. In July, Brad promoted a small content creator named Rose Malay on his community tab, someone who he'd been friends with apparently for years and supported, and he really liked her content. He wanted to shout her out and
I wonder what can go wrong here.
Send some people her way. On the surface, her channel seemed relatively harmless, but after looking through some of her older posts, people became very, very concerned with what she was saying. Rose had made a lot of tweets where she was defending, we'll call it forced love for this video. In some of the posts, she posited ridiculous hypothetical questions.
I'm not reading this shit. I'm just gonna. What the fuck? Yeah, see, I'm not reading this out loud. Fuck that shit. No.
Questions about if it would be okay to forcibly love someone in the event that all women refuse to have sex. She said that forced love is natural and necessary for a healthy society.
Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches.
Kind of crazy. She also went on to defend human and animal relationships in posts.
Oh, fuck no. Oh, what the Brad, why are you friends? I mean, maybe Brad had no clue about this. If he did, then it's fucking weird of him to be friends with this person, but like, maybe he didn't know. I mean, how could Brad even respond to this? Is he going to have to get another meltdown or something? Or is he actually going to be like, I didn't know about that, and if that's actually the case, I'm going to disavow her. Let's see how this is actually going to go. If he has a meltdown, then, well, I probably get, like, I don't know, a quarter.
I don't really even want to read them out loud because they're really graphic, but yeah, she was in full defense of those. Now, initially, some people thought this was serious, some people chalked it up to jokes, but with so many of them and even her like long drawn out justifications for how our word, forced love, is cool, it became more and more difficult for her or Brad to explain these away. But Brad would actually defend Rose, claiming that she is
oh my fucking god. Okay, turns out the two things I said about what Brad could do, turns out those things are out the window. Even having a meltdown, I mean, he may have a meltdown later on, but like, defending the girl, Jesus Christ. What's he gonna say? It's all jokes? I mean, obviously I like edgy jokes, and if she was saying it was an edgy joke, then obviously that's a pass, but there's like a lot of tweets that suggest that she was actually being serious and she actually likes forced love. And, you know, love between animals and humans. Bro, Brad, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what type of people are you hanging out with?
incredibly traumatized and mentally ill. He goes, she isn't a monster, just someone who really needs attention and will say some really messed up shit to get it. She knows this. She's trying to learn from it and grow. Now, I think most people would definitely agree that Rose is mentally ill. It usually takes some level of mental illness to justify what she was justifying, but people were still very critical of his willingness to support her and promote her, especially when he had just condemned Ethan Klein for much less. And then here he was, like, willing to defend her for some reason off of what she said.
It's like
I mean, I guess I was right about the, meltdown, but like I didn't bring up the fact that he was going to defend her. So I get like maybe I guess like 12.5 cents or so. I don't know.
Every day is hard, and I have to just cope with the new way that my brain works. But I don't want you guys to feel bad for me, because it was my decision, and I don't regret it.
Eventually, I ended up getting on a stream with another drama channel called Chud Logic, during which Rose would also call in. She basically communicated that she felt persecuted by the internet for old posts she had made, she felt persecuted by commentary channels, and at the same time, she was still willing to defend Brad, and she was upset that her old post had caused him to get backlash and get in controversy. Now, Brad would eventually switch on his prior position. He ended up going public and apologizing, saying he didn't know about her prior statements. I really wanted to believe this person could change. I saw my own mental disability in this person, but they have said some of the most awful and evil stuff I've ever seen. So he's backing off from her, and he probably
okay. Hopefully he doesn't go back to defending her when some similar stuff happened. But I mean, I just hope he doesn't. I could be wrong. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut because only God knows what could happen.
They thought that this once again would end the drama entirely. Unfortunately for him, Rose would then go on to have her own very public mental breakdown.
It's very weird to have somebody one day tell you that they're advocating for you so strongly and so publicly, and tell you that it's okay to make mistakes, only for the next day for them to publicly bash you.
With Rose being cut off with her one connection remaining to a popular YouTuber, she decided it was time to go full scorched earth on him. And so she released this 20-minute video titled Brad Taste is Lying to You. First, she claims that Brad does not actually care about these controversies and has no real opinion, and on top of that was fully aware of her controversial tweets and didn't give a shit. She shows a tweet of him screenshotting one of her posts from 2018, seemingly showing that he had some awareness of her controversial comments and didn't actually give a shit when he wasn't, getting in public Twitter drama over it. She then goes on to leak messages of Brad from a year ago, messages where he seems to be saying that he doesn't care about her controversial post. I don't care about—
Oh shit! Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Brad. Looks like you have a bunch of skeletons in your closet. Oof. Looks like he was well aware of her past. This ain't looking good, chat. Not looking good at all.
You post, no one's even that petty about me following you. Those people before were just really toxic about it. I appreciate that. I do post some wild shit though. Obviously, I'm not going to change who I am or anything, but I do agree that tweeting the way I do is probably not healthy. Nah, it isn't, but I'm constantly looking for attention with what I post. I just do it in a more kosher way. Wow. Same stuff, different coat of paint. I mean, fair. I'm better than I used to be, so that's cool. I feel like I'm maturing. It's just so easy to be riled up and inflammatory. I really do think Twitter brings the worst out of people, but it's always cool when people realize that my shitty tweets don't define me, and I'm actually a cool person when you get to know me. Oh, absolutely. Twitter is horrible. And yeah, you're just voicing your opinion. And yeah, you are a cool person. It's why I'm over the whole tweet thing. Now, to be fair, the tweet that Brad made that Rose cites, the one where he screenshotted her statement about forced love, that tweet in particular from her could be read as a joke. So it's possible that at the time he figured that all of her tweets were also edgy for the sake of it and not seriously endorsing unethical interactions and forced love. Listen, guys, I have to make a statement. Rose Millay supports forced love. Look, guys, I love love, no matter who it comes from, okay? And you know what? Sometimes she doesn't know she wants the love.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Freaky ass. But throughout the rest of this video, Rose decides to leak even more posts. In one of them, she leaks some DMs between the two of them that were related to his post on her of the community tab, right? Promoting her during that whole controversy. He expresses a lot of frustration. He's saying, like, the one thing that I stand up for, the one thing I believe in, I get completely disowned by my own committee, right? Everybody shits on me, despite the fact that this is the thing I actually believe. In regards to the Ethan Klein controversy—
What the fuck? Does Brad actually believe the same thing as Rose does? I mean, unless I'm actually being retarded, but that is just crazy.
Rose also asserts that Brad hates the audience he's cultivated and just despises them and thinks they're retarded, basically.
Responding to some—
Honestly, based. Because I mean, some of them at least. Other ones are obviously trying their best to like make sure Brad's actually in the right direction, but I don't know. It's probably just a lost cause. Whatever.
his fans' criticisms on Twitter, he says, "Dude, these people are so fucking stupid. Oh my god." He also says to me, "That was my fucking point, lol. Get it? But whatever, I'll just accept it and not care too deeply."
From here, Rose goes on to expose Brad through a number of kind of unrelated claims with mostly out of context screenshots and like 6-year-old videos. She claims that Brad mistreated many of his friends he made early on YouTube, sort of blowing up and acting like he didn't know anybody.
My main goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody.
In a tweet from 20...
And then also because you pull like an I'm Alex, you know, befriend big YouTuber and then be bigger than big YouTuber and then disavow big YouTuber. Oh man, that sounds like I'm Alex right there. Hopefully he doesn't like, you know, bash his girlfriend with a brick on the wall.
2018, one of his supposed former friends referred to Brad as an egotistical, money-driven, and power-crazy person. And they also leak a DM from Brad where he states, "The community hates people like me. I'm a businessman, always have been. I'd never fit to a group. I love music and I love making content on it, but I also love watching my empire grow. I've always loved having a voice and influence. The community is trying to box me in. I don't want that. I want to focus on my channel and try pushing my content to its furthest point without worrying about people who aren't on my side no matter what. As much as people deny it, it becomes about numbers."
But how do I make money off depressed people?
The rest of this video is mostly Rose going through instances where Brad has like called people retarded or, in her words, been transphobic or problematic.
I believe they were trans. I was so wrapped up in my own that I was just like, I don't care about your gender. And hey, you're retarded. I mean, my God, I didn't even realize that word had been on an island and isolated and you couldn't say it anymore. I said it in a An awful context too. I was transphobic at 17. I liked Trump at 17.
Rose remembers. I can tell you for sure that I've said the N-word.
I mean, everybody has, okay? If someone just says I didn't, they're fucking lying. Everyone has said it at least one time in their life. Pretty much everyone has said it.
Bro, you guys already knew this. Come on. Oh my god, I know, it's terrible. You guys are acting like you've never said something you weren't supposed to say before. Come on, chill.
He released an album last year as like Big Baller Beer, and like he uses the N-word like in the album at one point.
I don't think most of this stuff matters. It's not really genuine transphobia or whatever, and you know, like just who gives a shit. But one thing is clear. Rose felt harmed by Brad. She felt like he supported her privately and then had a different opinion publicly and decided to disavow her. Now that she was cut off, she decided to pull everything she knew about him from the past to make him look like as bad a person as she possibly could. And I think her intentions were pretty clear throughout this video, and as a result, it didn't really have a very positive reception. Didn't get a lot of likes on that one. This aged like milk. It also seems that Rose has a long history of like befriending a popular YouTuber and maybe working for them or getting to know them a bit, and then when they get sick of her and don't want to talk to her, she'll make an exposed video on them, which has a lot of like dubious or unimportant claims that like nobody cares about. But she does have
Holy shit. She is clout hungry. Damn.
one compelling point about Brad in her conclusion that I think she was able to demonstrate.
I just felt like I needed to say this. My issue is that he is a hypocrite. What he believes privately is often very different from what he believes publicly. And he's even said in the past, the only real difference between me and him is that I say what I believe openly, whereas he is much more careful about his public image and often doesn't reveal his true beliefs. Because the thing that matters most to him is his YouTube audience and not doing anything that might risk that.
And also money. Because, well, obviously, if you're trying to be so careful about what you believe publicly, then obviously you're just doing it so that way you can protect the bag.
Of 2024, a Twitter user would accuse Brad of stealing from them and putting them in debt. They claim that Brad hired them to help edit a video, and as a result, he offered to buy them editing software to help get the job done. However, Bradley had seemingly issued a refund on this payment transfer, putting this person's account in a negative balance. After they messaged Brad, he only sent them enough money to partially cover the refund, and then apparently refused to make up for the remainder of the funds that had been spent. Peruko, is this about the $151? Because that's the only transaction in any pictures I see. You better be careful with getting this upset over something I've been working on at my own pace throughout the day. If I don't get proof of any...
I mean, I'm not really surprised he has to hire an editor well, I mean, his videos are like minimum effort, like when it comes to editing, so I thought he would do it, but if it's like a lot of videos, then well, I guess I can see why he has an editor, but still, like, man, of course he's going to be like a scumbag towards, you know, his editors, which is not really surprising. I mean, a lot of people are, which is kind of messed up, but, you know, it's just... well, it's not like normal because there's actually some people who actually care about their editors, but man, I never knew that Brad was something like this, man.
Anything saying more than $151 was taken out, then it's not my place to solve this. He's basically like, look, I don't know what this is. It doesn't look to me like I did anything wrong. This isn't really my problem. Talk to PayPal about it. But this person claims that Brad was unwilling to work with them and had basically scanned them or stolen from them. And they posted this Twitter thread in the hopes they could get the full amount back. And it got a ton of likes on Twitter, and Brad saw it, and he did not like what he saw. As a result, he would respond stating that the reason it happened was because he is disabled.
Oh my, okay. Oh wait, is that what the whole disabled thing comes from? Oh Jesus Christ, of course you have to pull the I'm autistic, disabled, ADHD card. Of course he has to do that.
You serious?
I got a freaking muscle spasm in my back, you know, gear slipped, air brakes were shot to hell. I mean, there's nothing I could do.
I can't get over how awesome that is. If I ever get in any kind of controversy again, my immediate response will be, I'm disabled. Actually, I'm disabled. Brad would go
Same here. If I ever, you know, do something bad, chat, I'm just going to say I'm autistic. I mean, all criticism, gone.
State that he has trouble with vision and poor reading comprehension, and his partner broke her glasses and is currently struggling to see. He also says he immediately noticed the refund and addressed it once he noticed there was some kind of issue. But he would also go on to express his frustration with this person publicizing the drama, remarking that he's friends with them and that this is a serious drama he needs to address and fix, obviously, but at the same time they kind of backstabbed him. And this was clearly weighing on him way more heavily than the Ethan Klein thing or even the Rose Malay thing, and the mental effects began to really show from his posts. At this time, a lot of people were shitting on Brad. They were bringing up every single grievance they had with him, and as a result, he would remove his Album of the Year account to a lot of fanfare from his haters. And to justify their celebration, they raised every issue under the sun they had, from lesser claims like him apparently artificially increasing the notoriety of his own album with his audience on that website to make it highly rated, to his defenses of Rose Malay, to the Ethan Klein thing. Like, everybody who had an issue with him was coming out of the woodworks being like, he did this, I don't like him because of this, I don't like him because of this. And as a result, when he deleted his account, apparently a tag was added to his now dead profile saying deceased. I don't know if this is like a user submitted thing or...
Holy shit. Did he just fake his own death? I mean, unless it's a user who put that in, but damn. Dude really tried to fake his own death like that, huh?
This is the staff doing this. I don't really know, but yeah. And people were celebrating that new deceased tag. At this point, Brad had made several statements about how the drama was affecting him mentally. He did seem at least somewhat self-aware of his inability to deal with public criticism and public platforms and fan interaction and all of that. He clearly was having a very rough time. And this would ultimately manifest in a video where he said he'd be making a significant and perplexing change to his streams.
What's going to happen now is there's going to be a lot less chat interaction. But I love music. I just really hate that I am like super mentally ill and anyone has access to the ability to talk to me.
You know, I agree that removing his chat would undoubtedly be a good move for his own mental health, but removing chat from a live stream is also like removing the main appeal of the streams. People who watch streams instead of...
Yeah, at that point, just make pre-recorded videos and just edit them and then just upload them. So why... There's no point in doing streaming at that point. I mean, I guess it's good for you to, you know, because you're having mental health problems, but don't even do live streams at that point. Just make videos.
Don't just want to watch them for the long runtime, right? Half of the appeal is the chat interaction. People in chat want to be noticed and heard and talk to other chatters and have like this sense of community kind of. That's why the just chatting genre, in which streamers don't play games or anything really, they just talk to viewers and react to stuff with them. That's why it became so popular. That's why Mizkif blew up. But Brad said he had to nerf this because his mental health was declining and he couldn't handle it. And in the same video, Brad would claim he was in a dire financial situation.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask help from you guys. Financial help, like actual financial help right now. You can add super request things to the bottom. I can also link my PayPal. But right now, I need enough money to support my family. And basically, I need enough...
Oh, he's pulling a DSP. He's like an e-beggar now. Oh, shit. Chat, I need like $100, okay? I have a $1,000 bill I need to pay, and I only have $900. Please, for the love of God, please, someone super chat me or pay by me $100. I swear to God, I need your guys' help. Please, please, please.
To last about a month, right? So in total, maybe about 10 grand. With my family and moving and... closing off leases. Yeah. Like, that's like the minimum, right?
A lot of people, including myself, found it perplexing that someone with 400,000 subscribers who has like previously bragged about the money he's made from his endeavors is asking for financial help from his audience. Like, it's a weird thing to do. A lot of people were also confused as to why Brad needed $10,000 to move. Like, that's a lot of money. I moved into a house not that long ago, and it didn't cost anywhere near $10,000.
Skriggle says, you even know...
Maybe he's like moving like across the whole country or something. Like, why would it cost $10,000? Jesus Christ. Maybe for like I mean, unless it's like for a house, but geez, moving, like, that shouldn't be too much.
How much money I've donated to you over the years. You have donated $22,388.19. Your first donation was August 4th, 2022 at 3:48 p.m. And your latest donation was June 8th, 2024. You are now the second highest donator, topped by Ned, who hasn't donated in a while, so you only got to send in another $2,200.
And they started speculating as to why he apparently had no money in the bank. Why can he not just cover this expense, right? Even if he does have to pay $10,000, he's in a position where he should have that. A lot of them speculated that he could have some kind of serious gambling addiction that's siphoning his funds away. And on top of that, he just came across as very entitled. He's demanding his fans for money for really nothing in return, when he clearly had been making tens of thousands of dollars regularly, monthly, off of a pretty easy job. And
I mean, I was about to say, like, maybe he spent all the money on, like, you know, weed, drugs, but, you know, he's been clean as far as I know, so, like, where could the money be? I guess maybe gambling, since that's, like, the closest thing to, like, lose all your money.
Top of that, he also commented on how negative criticism and hate was really affecting his mental health.
If you're one of the people who is stopping me from doing this and also telling me that it's for my own good, fuck you. Fuck you. If you're a subscriber, unsubscribe
Leave a comment and I'll happily hide you from the channel.
I mean, bro, if they're giving you valid criticism, then that's good. Like, obviously, they want you to change. Like, they want you to realize that you're messing up, and they want you to not do that ever again, and maybe apologize if it was something bad. But you're just refusing to do so, and now you're just trying to make an echo chamber. And obviously, people are just gonna let that happen because, well, what they're gonna do? I mean, what are they supposed to do? Really? Like, they can't really help you, so they're just gonna leave you behind. I mean, they're also going to willfully, unsubscribe from you if you're not going to really do much and just going to, be so negative and it's just going to go all downhill. You get my point, really.
Genuinely, you guys are some of the worst fucking people I've ever met. And I'm glad that I'm going to stop making friends on the internet.
While this in and of itself was unadvisable to say the least, I would never recommend that any YouTuber e-beg from their audience. Eventually, a clip surfaced that made it seem like Brad was in genuine danger and people became really worried for him.
I under no circumstance can listen to this album right now because I am not safe in my own home. And I really can't describe much else.
Oh, shit. Dude deleted the whole VOD too. God damn. Jeez, what happened? Did someone like break in or something, or send him like a death threat? Hell, even a bomb threat? Seriously, what happened? I'm kind of curious.
Live stream was quickly removed with no explanation, and there's no other re-uploads or further clips of this anywhere online. He really managed to wipe it. But from that short clip, it doesn't seem like he's joking. It's clear that there's something going on with him. And as a result, a lot of people on Twitter and other websites expressed a lot of their concern and confusion with him, wondering what the fuck even happened. On the Brad Taste subreddit, where a lot of his fans were congregating and talking about this stuff, one user claimed that Brad, in reference to his fiancée, said that she had turned all of his friends against him and that the relationship was falling apart. One user even claimed that on that stream he had called the cops on himself, I guess. I don't know who he's calling the cops on, but yeah. The details here are very scarce, so take all of that with a grain of salt. But what is clear, even from the clip we do have that's confirmed to be, real and him having kind of a freak out, it's clear that he's having sharp mental decline, and it's likely that his safety is not being affected by his partner, but instead himself. A lot of fans were concerned. They started messaging like his fiance and his friends being like, hey, is Brad okay? Is something going on? What the fuck is going on? Is he all right? Do I need to call someone? And she would eventually respond to someone saying that Brad is okay, that they're both safe, and that they're getting the help they need, whatever that may be. I assume some kind of psychiatric help, probably for Brad in particular. But other people would further speculate about the existence of a gambling addiction, which would explain where his money went. I don't know if that's the case, but it seems like if he's making the money that he's been claiming he's making, and you can tell that he's making on YouTube, and he doesn't have a lot of that money in the bank somehow, even if he is spending it like stupidly on like, I don't know, designer clothing or a watch or something, there has to be something else going on that explains where all his money is disappearing and evaporating to. And
well, yeah, because he's making a fuck ton of money, and how the hell is he wasting it all? Like, it has to be like at least gambling or at least something worse or even close to that. I mean, there's just no other way. Like, where can he really spend like all this like thousands of dollars on? Because I know he's not I don't think he's really making millions, but at least like around tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, there's no way that all that's basically gone. I mean, it could be gambling, like we already said, or it could be worse, or even something close to gambling. Like, seriously, where did all that money go? Seriously, where did it go? Did it just disappear? I mean, did someone steal it? Like, where did it go? Seriously, I mean, that's actually like a genuine, serious question I have. Like, where did the money go?
At the same time that people were concerned about his mental health, others pointed out how the prospect of Brad being able to rake in the dough from his content really changed his approach, and he became a different person once the money started rolling in. I remember the first time someone paid him a big chunk of change to listen to a full album, and you could tell from his facial expression that he was shocked someone was actually paying him that much. A similar thing happened when he did the Corey Feldman torture stream, and someone paid him $1,000 to listen to the album again. His jaw hit the floor, and at the time, it was amazing to watch, but in retrospect, that was the beginning of the end. This happened enough times that watching people throwing obscene amounts of money at Brad became normal. Suddenly, streaming was no longer a side thing, it was his main content. It went from a weekly thing to a daily thing. Everything he listened to was something he was paid to listen to. His audience members shot up, and he could make a living off of it. But his content stopped being about being entertaining and started being about keeping the money flowing in. Just another example of commerce destroying art. That leads us to today. Brad's become so accustomed to earning huge amounts of money that he's become out of touch, and thinks casually asking his audience for $10,000 is acceptable. Regardless of his mental health struggles, it's clear that there's a lot to criticize Brad bad for. And frankly, excusing everything he's done publicly with, well, he's mentally ill, is not a very good argument or justification, but it is clearly a part of the picture, a big part of it.
Well, yeah, because he can't really handle criticism, and the money is like starting to affect him to the point where he doesn't really want to do anything. Like he's already making so much money. He's like, I don't want to do anything. Like, because after all, he made so much money. It's like, what can you really do, right? I mean, except for making more. Like he just, I don't know. Like I guess making money is like starting to make him like lazy. And thirdly, well, he's also mentally ill as well, and obviously that led to a lot of controversy and a lot of drama. So yeah, man, it's just a lot of. It's actually like a lot worse than I thought it was. Like I thought it was just him just throwing a bit of a hissy fit when people were criticizing him for being with Ethan and Hila Klein, but no, it was a lot more. I mean, it was like afterwards, but like you guys get my point.
Of his problems have been exacerbated by his flimsy mental state. His inability to take criticism, his inability to respond to it without having a mental breakdown, his financial situation, his indignance over people who criticize him and calling them all haters. It's sort of, I wouldn't call Brad a lolcow, but it's lolcow behavior. Yeah, it's lolcow behavior for sure.
I would have said like horror cow, but like that belongs to Cyrax.
And all this,
you know, for like the rest of his life. Like I might, you know, find a video of him, like, you know, like a video about Cyrax, but I don't know. If you guys want me to, I would do that, but I don't know. I mean, those videos are way too long, okay? There's no way we can actually fit that in.
Stuff is wrapped up into a perfect concoction of just shit for Brad. I think if he wants to continue having a public-facing job in the future, if YouTube's something he's not willing to let go, I think he really needs to sort out all these problems before he returns, or else he's going to return to the same exact cycle. We've seen it happen before with a lot of people like FouseyTube, where they are clearly mentally ill. Dog! They do a bunch of shitty things. They try to use that to justify it, and then they just get back online again and again because of the positive affirmation they get for, you know, some of the non-crazy stuff they do, and then that leads to them acting like a fool online and ruining their career. If he doesn't get this stuff addressed in his time offline, he's going to find himself in the exact same cycle, and even more of his audience is going to stop watching him.
What's up, guys? Bradley here, letting you know that I am going to rehab. Yep. About 2 months. It's intensive outpatient care. And I'm not going to be uploading. And if I am going to be uploading, it's going to be something, you know, either super familiar or maybe something completely different with DJing. Regardless, I need a break. A lot of stuff has happened in the last month I've not handled well. I've not been handling my anger well. I've not been handling controversy well. And I've kind of honestly just ended up in a really...
It would be so crazy if just Tom took like an entire Brad Taste video and just put it in, and then next you know he ends the video. That would be so funny. But I don't think he's actually going to be, you know, that type of guy. I don't think he's going to actually take a whole video, right? I mean, we're about to find out anyway.
Bad spot and embarrassed a lot of people because of it. So what I'm going to be doing is going somewhere to essentially learn more about myself and get help so that I can basically make a healthy return. So just wanted to let you know that there's going to be like essentially expect 0 content for the next 2 months. So that's all. Peace.
And turns out I was right. Turns out Tom took an entire part of, well, an entire Brad Taste video basically, but whatever. I mean, there's already like it's like a small part of a whole video, so it's whatever. I'm not trying to like, snitch on Tom or anything, but it's like, you know, because especially the whole copyright thing, because, you know, Dark Viper AU had to come in and everything.
Personally, I find Brad to be a coward who is really just controlled by his fear, and he doesn't have conviction in anything, and he's very ungrateful, entitled. He's just not a super great guy, but I also understand that he needs help, and in his mental state, he's really messed up. I hope he gets his career back and he can just shut his mouth, but that remains to be seen. You know, once he returns, we'll have more confirmation of how that goes. I've been Tom. I am Tom. I've been Tom. I was Tom. I am Tom. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Check out this channel for more videos. Check out the live channel for live clips. Check out the main channel for documentaries, video essay documentaries, and check out the IRL channel for real documentaries and vlog content. Hillary Clinton. I will be voting for Hillary Clinton. Thanks for watching. Again, bye.
Well, that was a good video from Turkey Tom, or Tom Dark, Tom IRL, and Tom Dark Life. But yeah, man, Brad Taste. Obviously, there's still things that he needs to work on, and obviously, I'm still holding a grudge on how my video got responded to. But yeah, hopefully he gets well, mentally. Obviously, I hope he stays clean, and hopefully he makes the type of content he actually wants to make instead of just doing whatever he has to do in order to make money. Just hopefully he does well, and hopefully everything goes right for him in the right track. Because right now he is clearly he clearly needs some help, and he's gained that right now.